For more than a decade, the BGK family has been a champion of dreams. It's the dreams of those who work for a better tomorrow that drive us to reach our greatest potential. We are here to support our kingdom partners, their families, their ministries, and our communities.
Hi, thank you for joining us for another powerful virtual production. BGK Network is committed to helping leaders around the world connect to a broader audience. In 2011, God gave us the vision for launching a virtual ministry platform, which has evolved into a virtual TV network, helping leaders like yourself have a louder voice that reaches further and spans wider. Our goal and mission are to help the micro church. We understand having a vision with purpose, but lack the support and resources to achieve it can be disheartening and discouraging at times. That is why BGK Network is here to help you overcome those obstacles. So if you believe you have a message that belongs on TV, well then, you need to contact us. Let us help you reach your greatest potential. Contact us at info@bgknetwork.org or call us at 877-386-6207.
Hello, welcome to the Team Taylor Show. We are one team with multiple shows, and this is the Keeping Your Marriage Hot and Holy show with your love coach, Pastor Chara Taylor. I want to start off by giving a huge thank you to our hosting network, BGK. We ask that you download the BGK mobile app so that you can watch us on the go wherever you are. Now, today I want to share with you all about the Keeping Your Marriage Hot and Holy show. So throughout each show, I will be bringing you biblical, revelatory, and practical wisdom tips on how to keep your marriage hot and holy. So specifically today, I want to give you some of the information about the overall ministry of Awaken Love, share with you the background, our mission, and our vision, some of the show topics that you can expect to hear. And I want to talk about what it means to keep your marriage hot and holy. And I want to give you some ways to connect with us. So let's begin with some background information on Awaken Love. So together, my husband and I started the ministry Awaken Love. Yet I ended up having to venture out into the role of the hot and holy love coach as people continue to seek out tips on marriage and relationships in general. So keeping your marriage hot and holy is an extension of the Awaken Love marriage ministry. Again, it's going to be me giving biblical, revelatory, and practical tips on how to make sure that you're having a good time. Before we can get into anything else, we really need to start at the beginning. So I'm going to take you back for a moment. How we began. The Awaken Love marriage ministry was birthed through a book that I wrote called Awaken Love. That was one of my favorite writings of all time. I had so much fun writing this book. And my husband is also a contributor in this book. This book has been a blessing to so many marriages, and it is the inspiration for the overall ministry. Now, in the book Awaken Love, I actually discussed the importance of Awaken to Love. This book it's actually available in paperback, digital, ebook on our website, and you can find it on Amazon. But because of the way the book took off, it actually expanded into us having coaching and counseling sessions with couples, hosting virtual and in-person couples date nights, which are super fun. It expanded into a podcast, and it has expanded into an ongoing, engaging, and very fun marriage retreat. In all of this, we gained the tagline and the slogan, Keeping Your Marriage Hot and Holy, after several couples came back to testify that as a result from participating in Awaken Love, their marriages are now hot, their marriages are now thriving, and they are more connected to one another and to God. So, as your hot and holy love coach, my personal goal is to inspire you to keep the fire blazing between you and your spouse. I actually aspire to help you stay focused on what's good in your marriage while you actually work on the issues, not neglecting the issues, but we want to help you focus on what's going on that's actually great. So this show will actually empower you to be restored and reconciled to one another. We believe that Jesus is using Awaken Love Marriage Ministry to resurrect marriages, to restore hope and love in marriages, and awaken love that has been lying dormant just due to hurt, trials, and life circumstances. We also believe that since Jesus resurrected and conquered death, that he is able and capable of resurrecting and conquering the dead state of absolutely any marriage. So it doesn't matter where your marriage is. We believe that Jesus can take it to another level. So during the different shows, I will deal with the issues that we really don't like to face and we don't like to talk about, like our attitudes and our behaviors in marriage. We kind of always want to point the finger to the other person, but we're going to deal with ourselves throughout the different topics of the shows. So when you tune in, some things that you can expect to hear about is actually, we're going to talk about the actual institution of marriage. We're going to talk about how to fight fair, how to know exactly who your enemy is. We're going to talk about the makeup of the Ephesians 5 wife. We're going to talk about having marriage expectations and what that looks like. We're going to talk about how reverence in marriage can affect the marriage. We're going to talk about the imperfect man. I actually wrote a book about the imperfect man as well. It's a very popular book as well. Women love it. We're going to talk about how to love the imperfect man. We're going to talk about the power of love. And if we just allow love to manifest, then that power can supersede and bloom into something that's magnificent in our marriages. We're going to talk about being holy and being balanced. And that is extremely important because sometimes when we have gotten married, some of us seem to get so high and caught up in spiritual things that we forget to do natural things on the earth for our spouses. And the truth is, I'm just going to say this, got to put it out there, okay? Listen, man of God, I want to say this to you before I say it to the woman. She don't want to always hear about work or ministry or church or Bible. She doesn't always want to hear about those things. Ladies, he still wants you to be able to drop it like it's hot. So Jesus didn't tell us we couldn't do these things or be these ways. So we have to learn how to be holy, but also be balanced and still be amazing to our spouses and our marriages. Okay, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the unloved wife, because there are so many wives that we talk to who feel like she is Leah from the story like of Jacob, Rachel, and Leah. Some women feel like they are the unloved wife, that their husbands only love them because they don't have a choice. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about actually how to stay connected. We're going to talk about the many benefits of kissing as couples. That'll be a fun topic. We're going to talk about how to put the man back in romance. And we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of the bedroom. And the reason we have to really go into depth in this is because some people have given us their ideas of what you can and can't do in the bedroom as a married couple. And it's prohibiting couples from really embracing and enjoying themselves. And quickly, I'll tell you that my husband and I, we had to deal with this because a certain leader told us that all we could do for foreplay was to kiss and we couldn't touch, we couldn't rub, we couldn't do all these different things. And so we ended up looking at each other like we were crazy for about 6 months until my husband said, we're going to go on a fast and we're going to talk to God. And in that, God showed us some amazing things and some freedoms that we had. So we're going to talk about that during this show. We're also going to talk about some bedroom enhancements, some things that you can do to make it more exciting and fun. And we're going to talk about how to get the thrill back in your marriage, because sometimes life circumstances can cause the thrill to be gone. So we're going to talk about how to get that back. Okay, so those are some of the things you can expect. So now let's talk about what keeping it hot and holy is. In essence, keeping your marriage hot and holy is making sure your spouse's needs are met emotionally, mentally, and sexually while you build on the spiritual aspect of it. Now, there are a number of ways to ensure that this happens. The first thing that we can do to keep our love hot and holy is by actively doing outward expressions of heartfelt appreciation, admiration, and solidarity. This is the whole concept of what is from the heart reaches the heart. So let me say this. You do know that your spouse can tell when your actions are warm and loving versus when you are doing things out of obligation, right? So if you give an obligated act, then don't expect a warm, loving response. That's just real talk. Do you know that the impact you have on your marriage by showing support and love for your spouse, do you know what that can do for your marriage? Let's consider this. We live in a virtual world, which makes success and achieving goals even more difficult because everybody is trying to do things virtually. So we've got even more competition. Before, we just had competition that was right next to us. Now we've got competition all over the world and everyone is fighting to get to the top. So listen, your spouse actually needs your support, your encouragement, and your edification. If you're not sharing what they're doing with others, if you're not promoting them and using platforms, then I suggest that you try and do that a little more because they need you. It's amazing to have help behind the scenes and to have prayer and that prayer support. All those things are amazing. But what's even more effective is if they had your natural support by loving them, promoting them, and encouraging them. Now, moving on with how we can do this and keep our love life hot and holy, we do this through selfless acts of gratitude just based on the person's existence, not their deeds. And when I think about this, I think about there's this gospel song that I absolutely love that says, I worship you because of who you are. And in the song, the artist goes on to say, not because of what you do, but just because of who you are. Now, in context, she's talking about her worship to God. But as married couples, we can and should take this exact principle and apply it to our marriages. We should do for one another based on who that person is, not based on what they do. Isn't that what we said when we took our vows? So it really is unfortunate that we often fall into the pattern of doing things out of a tit for tat, or sometimes we try to punish our spouses by not doing for them because we are mad about something that he or she did or something he or she did not do. And we don't even realize that we're punishing them. Those are actually not the vows we took. We took vows for better or worse, for sicker or in sickness and in health, for better or worse, till death separates us. That is doing things based on who the person is, not based on their actions. Now, some other ways that we can keep our love life hot and holy is by speaking our spouse's love languages. I don't know if you've heard about the love languages, but these love languages were identified and taught by Dr. Gary Chapman. He has several books about these love languages. He affirms that there are 5 primary love languages, which are words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time, gifts, and acts of service. So learning and speaking the spouse's love language is tantamount to enjoying one another and actually liking one another. It's just like learning a second language. You should be able to speak it when needed. And for those of us who are saved, sanctified, and Holy Ghost filled, it's kind of like speaking your prayer language or in tongues. When you do that, you reach the third heavens, you make a spiritual impact, then you come back to your natural side, and then you start living again. This is the same thing that you must do when it comes to speaking our spouse's love language. We need to learn it and practice it and do it on a regular basis. Speak those love languages, make an impact in your spouse's life, and then go on and do what you need to do. So you must speak them often to maintain the connection, because the reality is that life actually drains us. So the more you fill your spouse's love tank, the more life depletes it. If you are a man and you are working, or even if you're not working, you're probably even more stressed, but the duties and responsibilities that come along with manhood, that depletes the life. The duties and responsibilities that come along with being a woman, that pulls the life out of us, which is why, since we have one another, then we need to fulfill one another, because so many other things are pulling away from us. I am actually going to do an entire show on love languages just because there is so much that we can learn about doing the love languages and speaking those love languages. I love how God has actually created us with these love languages. And so one thing that I do want to share is that while we are asking our spouses to fill our love languages, we can actually also be filled by God because he wants to speak that to us. Okay, so we can also keep our marriages hot and holy by putting our spouse's needs and interests before ourselves. Not to the point that you're not caring about yourself, okay? Just making sure that you're showing love. What we need to make sure we're not doing is we do not need to live in self-defense. Too often our marriages take on a role where we are defending ourselves when we're trying to have conversations, and that is not how you keep your marriage hot and holy. To keep your marriage hot and holy, we must live unguarded toward one another, trust one another's words and actions, and communicate fairly with one another. This means we must watch the way we approach conversations, and we must be very careful how we respond to one another, because we typically respond by matching what the other person has just given off. And this can cause a lot of chaos, especially if there are unresolved issues. So in keeping your marriage hot and holy, it is actually embedded within unity and teamwork. It's embedded within working together for the greatest good of the family and the marriage as a whole, not the whole tit for tat. It doesn't have a list of specified duties, because what we have to remember as we are thinking about life and as we are thinking about our marriages is that things have changed. And because there's not one person who is bringing in all of the income, there's not one person who is just staying at home, because things are being shared with both spouses, then we have to share other things as well. We have to make sure we're sharing the things in the home as well as sharing the things outside of the home. The responsibilities are no longer just being held down based on gender. Everyone is doing equal things. And so we need to equally be putting into our marriages so that we can give out what we need. So keeping it hot and holy is about not having unrealistic expectations of your spouse. Think about your spouse. Does your spouse have the capacity to do what it is you need or that you are asking? Keeping your love hot and holy is realizing that you two are different, but together you are powerful. It is allowing one another to be yourselves and stop trying to change one another's attitudes, character, and personality. The truth is, because you didn't give your spouse his or her personality, you don't have the ability to change it. And so it's accepting your spouse for who he or she really is. And keeping your love hot and holy is the bedroom freedoms and doing it according to the outline of the Holy Scriptures. So for that purpose, I want to really help you to see and to understand that keeping your marriage hot and holy is about bringing life to the institution of the marriage. It is protecting the major areas of connection between you as a couple, which are the mental areas, the emotional areas, the spiritual areas, and the physical areas. And what I call the 3 areas of attack, we have to make sure that we guard. The enemy seems to want to always attack our bodies, our bank accounts, and our beds. And so I say that we need to make sure that we are protecting those 3 areas, making sure that we are protecting our bank accounts, because when our bank accounts are attacked, then emotions seem to fly high. When our bodies are attacked, then our emotions seem to go wild. When our beds are attacked, then we have problems there as well. So making sure that we protect the 3 B's by coming together often and by talking to one another and by doing the things that we need to do to fulfill those obligations, that keeps us on a path to keeping the marriage hot and holy. Keeping the marriage hot and holy is all about helping you guys just like one another. There's some advice that is going around to go on dates all the time. Date night, date night, date night, date night. And I think date night is amazing and everybody should go on dates if you are able. But there are some couples who just cannot go on dates. And if you just cannot go on dates, then I think that that's not something that I would advise, because there's nothing worse than seeing a couple who does not like each other sitting at a restaurant, uninterested and uninvolved in one another. There is nothing worse than seeing that. So if you're not at a place where you are liking one another, I think that you get help and then get to a place where you can go on dates. Keeping the marriage hot and holy is about showing you guys how to not just enjoy one another, but again, I have mentioned this a few times, but it is the freedom in the bedroom, because we hear often in all of our coaching sessions that people don't feel free. So as your hot and holy love coach, I am going to be here to empower you and to equip you with the very tools that you need to awaken the love in your marriage. So I want to say, yes, you are definitely going to be able to get all of this great information here on the BGK Network, but there are other ways that you can connect with us to keep the marriage hot and holy. On our website, www.teamtaylorministries.com. And you can also follow us on our social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. I am on those as well as separately as the Hot and Holy Love Coach. I do a podcast every week on tips for keeping your marriage hot and holy, and those are raw and they are real. And so those podcasts can be found on or listened to on Anchor, Apple, Spotify, Breaker, Overcast on iTunes, and Google Podcasts for now. I have a wives group where we talk about what it is to be a hot and holy wife. And we talk about how to awaken love as wives. In this group, we are empowered as wives. We support one another. So I want to encourage you, if you're on Facebook, to find the Awaken Love Wives group so that you can stay connected, and find the Awaken Love group so that you can attend our virtual date nights. Those are very fun and designed to help you come together and to connect. And if you need counsel or if you need coaching, my husband and I are available, and we are willing and ready to walk with you through whatever issues you may have. We absolutely love what God has called us to do through Awaken Love and to help couples keep their marriages hot and holy. And then we are building up to a wonderful marriage retreat. It was supposed to happen in this year, but because of the pandemic, we cannot have this marriage retreat. But I want to tell you about this retreat because it is phenomenal. It is not just another, oh, we're going to go and sit down and we're going to be preached to and this is going to happen. No, it is engaging. It is interactive. It is fun. And it is about learning your spouse, having time away with your spouse. But we do engaging things. We have a prom or a dance night for couples. It's really especially fun if you didn't get the opportunity to actually go to prom with your spouse. So that one is very fun. A banquet night. We have crowned a king and queen of the prom. We have engaging workshops. And we bring people in to do natural things. And we have different vendors and things that come to help you add different things to your marriages. Things we have vendors like Pure Romance. And if you have heard anything about Pure Romance is a company that helps couples take their life and bedroom life to another level. And so we have those type vendors. So it's not just all about preaching and hearing words that you have been preached to about over and over again. It's about giving you the opportunity and the space to reconnect. It's about giving you the opportunity and the time to get some of those things out of your mind, off of your heart, and things that you have already dealt with. It's about getting to the bottom and to the root of issues that are stopping you from enjoying one another. It is about coming together and reconnecting. It's about having a revival in your marriage. The one thing I have learned over the past maybe 5 months since this pandemic has started is that so many couples are living trying to figure out what in the world are we doing? We are married and we are really not happy. We are married and now we see, because we have to sit together and be quarantined together, we're not as connected as we should have been. The quarantine has shown us that people use their jobs as a way of escape, as time away from their spouses. And then when they come home, they only get a little bit of time to be with their spouses, and that has seemed to be enough. But the pandemic has shown us that there needs to be so much more. The ministry to marriages is imperative, and there needs to be so much more done to pour into marriages. And so, keeping your marriage hot and holy through these love tips that I'm going to be giving, and also through our other show where we are talking together, we are definitely preparing to help you be equipped, edified, and empowered. And it is definitely our sincere prayer that through the shows, that not only will your love be awakened and your passion be restored, and that you have a hot and holy marriage, but that your marriage will inspire other kingdom marriages, because kingdom marriages have taken a back door to being the example of what marriage looks like. And we want to help kingdom marriages get back to the forefront, to be what other couples, young people are aspiring to establish, what other people are aspiring to have when it comes to marriage. We want kingdom marriages to be the example. We want kingdom marriages to model what Jesus looks like, what being married to Jesus looks like. We want kingdom marriages to be all that, okay? Just for a lack of words. I am so happy that I get to be your hot and holy love coach, and it is my sincere hope that you will meet me back here for another episode of Keeping Your Marriage Hot and Holy. And I want to make sure and ask you to download the BGK app from your Play Store, whether you're on Apple or whether you're on Android. Go ahead and download the BGK app so that you can tune in whenever and wherever. And if you miss an episode, then we want you to be able to have to see that episode, so by doing this, you can just go to the BGK YouTube channel. Okay, go to the BGK YouTube channel. It's BGK TV. You can find them on YouTube. Your marriage, no matter where you are, can be saved. Your marriage, no matter where you are, can be hot. It can be holy. Your marriage, no matter where you are, can get back to the place that it was when you stood at that altar and you said, I do. When you first accepted the proposal, or when you first made the proposal. Your marriage can be there. Your marriage should be there. And there is absolutely nothing that should stop you, because the Bible tells us, Jesus says that what he put together, let not man put asunder. Let not man separate. Let not man tear it apart. And that's just not talking about the physical person of a man, but the things that happen in life. Let not the things of man tear us apart. Let not heartache, let not wrong words, let not finances, let not children, let not in-laws, let not anything that does not encompass you two together separate you. Keeping your marriage hot and holy is going to be the forefront of your marriage. You're going to be running to one another, to embrace one another, and express all of that passion all over again. We're going to make sure that these things happen so that you can inspire your children, so that your children can have the testimony of, my parents were married for these many years, and my parents were married, and my parents. We want your children to say, I want to be just like them. I want to be just like them. I'm excited that you get to be a part of an amazing marriage, and I am praying for your marriage. I do want to say that if you would like prayer for your marriage, please go to our website and fill out the prayer request form, and we will make sure to pray for your marriage. We will make sure that we are praying for you. So again, thank you very much for joining, and I look forward to seeing you back here next time for another episode of Keeping Your Marriage Hot and Holy with your Hot and Holy Love Coach. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for watching the Team Taylor Show. For more information, you can reach us at teamtaylorministries.com. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and learn what we are doing to serve the community and the kingdom of God. We pray that you seek God in ways you can help by supporting us with your financial contributions. Please go to our website, teamtaylorministries.com, and choose any way you want to give, or you can mail in any gifts to the address below. God bless you all.